What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic. I'm giving you guys a PGA first look for the American Express coming up this weekend. PGA DFS on DraftKings. Hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell as we get going. Goes a long way for me on this video. It goes a long way for you. Hopefully you guys can be apprised whenever great content is going live here at Stokastic. Looking forward to doing this for the very first time. This is going to be a little bit of a new thing. I'm going to try out some different stuff, but we got a PGA DFS VOD on the way for you here. We've got PGA Live Before Lock on Wednesdays, but this is going to be an early look coming to you Monday, Tuesday. Kind of depends on how the tournaments are set up, but I want to go through the PGA Top Golfers tool over at Stokastic. I want to go through how to build out on Cruncher for 150 lineups, and I want to finish by hand building a lineup over at DraftKings.com. A lot of different ways that I can help you guys get prepped. So let's just get to it, shall we? Oh, and sign up at PrizePicks because they've got a ton of great PGA DFS stuff. Use promo code Stokastic. Get yourself $100 first match deposit bonus over there. They don't have anything posted here as of yet on Tuesday, but very, very shortly. Oh, look at that. It is the PGA Top Golfers tool here at Stokastic. This thing is incredible, and I'm going to talk you through some of the features and how I start my process. Again, you can get your first month of Stokastic Plus Platinum for 1 month free just by signing up at PrizePicks, so that's a great opportunity. Do that in the video description box below, but look at this. We've got positive leverage. We've got optimal percentages for players. We've got Alex Baker, Eddie Lai, Sean Zahn, some of the sharpest minds in all of DFS, in all of betting, helping you guys make the best possible lineups. But here's kind of the way that it breaks down. We're looking at ceiling projections. We're looking at floor projections. We're looking at top six to odds that a golfer will finish sixth or better in a tournament, which generally isn't very likely. There's high variance in a sport like PGA DFS. Doesn't seem like it sometimes because the top players are pretty damn good. I mean, for Jon Rahm to finish almost a third of the time in the top six is ridiculous. Can he still show up in a winning lineup by finishing 10th? Sure can. Just probably won't need a lot of these other guys to end up outperforming him. So we're going to talk through some of the nuances. We're going to talk through some of my favorite plays for the slate here on DK. I can't do tee time stacks because, again, I don't have the tee times out yet here, and I don't know what the weather looks like. We have a weather tool that does a great job of encompassing where the edge might lie. You want to be checking that out on Wednesday evenings when you're building out your lineups and putting the finishing touches on everything. But let's start with this. We know at a golf course like this, the American Express, there are going to be birdies made. There's no doubt about it. La Quinta Country Club, Nicklaus Tournament Course at PGA West, and the PGA West Stadium Course, they can get ripped alive. Now, the PGA West Stadium Course, once upon a time, played very, very difficult. That is where they're going to play 2 rounds. They're going to play either their first, second, third round there, and then everybody plays there for the final round. This is what's called the 54-hole cut. The other famous tournament that we have in circulation at Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach has a 54-hole cut. Those are about the only two you're going to run into with a 54-hole cut. It's because they have amateurs coming along for the ride. It's a pro-am style deal. They have 3 different golf courses that you're playing for the first 3 days. 2 of the 3 are very easy. Nicklaus Tournament Course and La Quinta Country Club routinely 2 of the easier courses on the PGA Tour. PGA West Stadium Course, there's water everywhere. There's bunkers everywhere. You got some strange situations with the Bermuda grass where the greens can be a little bit difficult to read at times because it's not like a true Bermuda style deal. So you can look at some putting numbers. They're pure surfaces. So there's no doubt about that. But I'm looking at guys who are solid off the tee, who can make a bunch of birdies. That's what we're looking at. That's generally what you want at every golf course, but specifically this one, you can shoot 80 at the tournament course. You could shoot 65, 62. We've seen 59s from like Hadwin and Pham. Like we've seen some guys shoot some really, really low numbers. So it's definitely out there still, but let's start going through the Top Golfers tool and what I'm looking at from a data perspective. We've got Jon Rahm. We'll just group it by salary here. He's going to be extremely popular. 26%. Scotty Scheffler, 20.2%. But I want to highlight Patrick Cantlay because he's pulling 28.7%. If I group by negative leverage in the tool, he's the most negatively leveraged golfer we have this week. Cantlay at 10,100 has unbelievable tournament history. But that optimal percentage, it's just not all that much higher. And then the leverage, I mean, this is just a ton of ownership to be pulling. It doesn't mean you can't play Patrick Cantlay. You just better have a lot of contrarian pieces in that lineup or you're running into a ton of duplication. And the name of the game in avoiding duplication of these large field tournaments. If you're trying to win 200K in, the $20, I guess it's just 100K up top this week over on DraftKings, is you don't want to be holding hands with people because that brings down your expected value of your lineups. And we want to be building positive EV lineups. And it's just more difficult to do with a Patrick Cantlay unless you're getting very, very different elsewhere. I prefer Cameron Young when he's sitting there at 9,100. I think this is one of the best young players on the PGA Tour. Was unbelievable last season, contended in multiple majors, just absolutely nukes it. And he's phenomenal off the tee. Kind of highlights a lot of the things that I'm looking for. Not like he's bad with a putter either. He's the worst with the putter by far. 99th in strokes gained putting over the course of his last 50 rounds. But he's 4th tee to green, 6th in total ball striking. It's ridiculous how good he can be. That's going to be the featured piece of the chalkier pieces that I want to be looking at more. But let's go back to the top of the board here, because I think there's a lot of interesting nuances with Jon Rahm, Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler had an unbelievable season last year, and Jon Rahm, he's played phenomenal to start off the season. Went out 27 under at the Century Tournament of Champions. I want to highlight Tony Finau, because it's weird to talk about recent form when it's January 17th right now. The season just got underway, but the guy won in Houston at the tail end of last season, his last event of 2022. And he's really the only guy pulling ownership up top here that has positive leverage. So again, 14.5% ownership, but that optimal percentage is only 0.5% away from Scheffler. Jon Rahm's on another planet right now, but still negative leverage going his direction. I just like Tony Finau at 10-2. Give me the 600 savings. I'll start my builds off with him. I want to pay attention to Xander Schauffele. I want to make sure he's healthy and good to go because there is positive leverage going to him too. But when you see Cantlay there, I find it tough, even with a second ninth he's had in his last 3 times showing up here in the 54-hole cut event style. That's still going to be difficult for me to land on at the top end. I think it's going to get a little bit more nuanced as we get into the 9Ks, but Tony Finau, Top Golfers Tool kind of explicitly shows it. I love getting to him there. In the 9K range, talked about Cameron Young already. My guy Sam Burns is here with positive leverage. He's positively leveraged a lot. I play him a ton in PGA DFS because he can get so hot with the driver, so hot with the putter. Those can be 2 things that can carry you to win a lot of golf tournaments. You don't even need to be perfect in terms of all-around ball striking. He can just get it done in a lot of different ways. But Siwoo Kim, 9,200, coming off of a win at the Sony. People in PGA DFS have gotten away from playing guys on the back of on the second half of a win here. For me, it's really just like the price increase to Siwoo Kim that's going to get him positive leverage. But if he continues to just gain with the irons at such a ridiculous clip, I think he's a great target at the lower 9K range. Again, he just won, so it's not like I'm breaking any kind of news that he has win equity, but this is a much stronger field, understandably so, and he's going to have to putt it better than he did even at the Sony. Barely gained not even a stroke in terms of strokes gained putting, but 8.8 and 8.2 strokes gained approach his last 2. Those are going to be things that are highlighted here for me that I think he can get so hot in that department that it almost doesn't matter. If he can be serviceable off the tee like he was at the Sony, look at him in that 9K range. As we move down the board here, you pretty much have a dealer's choice in the 8K range. Taylor Montgomery, he is just unbelievable with a flat stick. Faded away a little bit there on Sunday, but was definitely there in contention. I expect him to be very popular. We've got him at just 12.8% ownership. I could see that go up, up, up. I do like Aaron Wise at the low 9K, but Thiegel is probably chalk I'm willing to eat at 8,600. I'm nervous about his off the tee game because it's definitely one of the weaker parts of his golf game here. He has not gained routinely for the last, 4 or 5 tournaments that he's competed in. Missed the cut at the Sanderson, 67 CJ Cup, losing 5.5 strokes gained off the tee. And then lost 2.3 at the Century with wide open fairways there in Kapalua. Still, it was a high-class field, even though there are only 36, 40 golfers playing over at the Century Tournament of Champions. All the winners from last year go over there and play in that. So I'm kind of writing it off. Hopefully, we can just ride that Southern California charm that he's got. He played at Pepperdine. That's nowhere near Palm Springs, 2.5 hours. But you know what I'm saying. He's a guy in Southern California, has a lot of familiarity with the area, played a lot of golf there. I think he's just going to be a guy that I want to see break out. And we saw him compete. I don't think TPC Scottsdale is a great comp here. It's okay for the most part, but he competed there. That's where he really broke out on the scene last season. I just think Thiegel is chalk that I'm willing to be playing a little bit more in that 8K range. We'll see what other people start thinking about here, but KH Lee, negative leverage. Tom Hoge, tons of negative leverage now that we've seen the price decrease there coming off of last week and just the high caliber class of field here at the top end. Just going to be a difficult spot for me to land on anybody there. 7K though, I think this is a pretty target-rich environment, especially when we start with one of the most positively leveraged players, the most positively leveraged player in the field, Brendan Steele. A lot of people probably don't know who Brendan Steele is, and that's okay. But this dude can be a ball-striking machine. Strokes gained tee to green, 5th in his last 50 rounds. That's rare to find in the 7,400 range. He has been horrendous putting, but again, these surfaces can play a little bit neutral. 21st in DK points scored. I think that's a guy that I just wanted to highlight for everybody. He's highlighted in the Top Golfers tool. Really think that stands out as well. But looking at everything that, you're trying to find birdie fest like that, I think you want to find the Brendan Steeles, the Siwoo Kims. Some of these other pieces don't make me feel all that comfortable. Callum Tarrant, somebody that emerged, another Englishman. Justin Rose there at 7,900. Neither of those feel all that good for me. Harry Hall, good Lord almighty. Going to be tough to land on some of those, but we'll finish it out with a 6K player that I do think is going to have some opportunity here. Patton Kizzire. Nobody is clicking on Patton Kizzire, it would seem. And Bermuda specialist type. Not that this is going to be your true Bermuda by any means, but definitely somebody there that I don't really know what to make of his skill set, as it's just been bad here routinely. Off the tee, though, he's gotten in this rhythm where he can gain 3-4 strokes off the tee, and it just kind of piggybacks into some decent form. The putter has been so atrocious that I think you get on some of these neutral surfaces and maybe you just see him spike a little bit there at the upper 6K, but you're really trying to find anything you can to make a case for anybody there. I don't really love getting to the 6K range all that much this week, but he's one guy that I think isn't the worst dude. I mean, look at this. It gets so thin, no top 6 odds, nobody that really makes any sense. Just don't want to find myself down here too much. This 7K range, much more interesting. Join our Discord. We have a premium insiders going right now over at Stokastic and Odd Shopper. Got Lofty, myself, Ben Raza, PGA extraordinaire there, Greg Ehrenberg, and Eitan Shander. The 5 of us doing a great job in the Discord, giving you guys bets every single week. Positive EV bets, that is. We're just constantly trying to give you the best information we possibly can. And sign up now in the video description box below. The first week is completely free when you sign up using promo code ELInsider. Yes, ELInsider will get you that very first week free. I would take advantage of that while it's still available here. And then it's just $19.99 per week after that. Why don't you sign up for that? That would be lovely, wouldn't it? All right, let's jump over to Fantasy Cruncher. I think I can do that. There we are. Nope. There it is. Hey, we're going to make our ways. I'm going to figure it out here as we're going. No doubt about it. But highlighting a couple of things here in the PGA DFS streets for this week. Building groups with popular players. Look at this. We've got Cantley, John Rahm. These numbers are going to change as the week progresses. So I'm not going to give you guys every single piece of ownership here at the top end. But and you can kind of see who's pulling a ton of ownership and who's not. Fades out there pretty quickly. But we have Cantley, Rahm, Cam Young, Will Zalatoris, Scotty Scheffler, Tom Hoge. Those are your 6 golfers pulling 15% or more. If you're trying to build out a lot of lineups, there are some ways to do this. You can hand click them and put them up here, but I'm going to go to Auto Group Creator. This is an add-on you can get here at Stokastic. We've got great lineup building stuff that we're working on here. Whenever, whether it's Neil Orfield with his VOD for football, whether it's myself here now with PGA, trying to give you guys an in-depth look at how to build better lineups. See how I have projected ownership. That is the projected ownership here. I'm going to make this 15. So golfers above 15% projected ownership. I want to include at least, it just kind of depends what your preference is. This is just kind of what I'm choosing to do. But if any key player is used, that's going to be those 6 players that are sitting 15% and above in projected ownership. I'm going to have at least 2 golfers who are, again, going to include that are below 10% projected ownership. Now, if I make this 20, you're going to have that grouping be just Scheffler, Zalatoris, Cam Young, Rahm, and Cantlay. Actually, let's do that with the 5 because I think that that's a little bit more intricate, a little bit more specific. And, it's not like there's a large enough field, it's a strong enough field that you probably don't need to go crazy in terms of making these groups. But for the sake of this, look at this. We have Rahm as the key player. We have Sam Burns, Cantlay as the I just wanted him to be the key player. That's how it works. Scotty Scheffler sitting there as the key player. Cameron Young, so on and so forth, with everybody listed underneath them. I'm not sure what I did to make that work out that way. Let me double check something quick. Go to auto group, set at, I don't need to do anything with that. Golfers who are below 10% projected ownership. We just need at least one player for the time being. You can change that to 3. You could change it to 2. Yeah, if any of the key players are used, let's make it 2 just for the time being here now. There it is. Now it's got everybody listed. I wasn't sure where they went. Austin Eckroat, I should have talked about him too. I love that man. But let's do this. I keep it at 1 default for PGA. I made this 125% normal distribution randomness. If you're going to go classic, I would still ramp up the randomness at least like 44%. Minimum projected calculations, that doesn't matter as much. The other thing I like to do when I'm setting up my lineups, I did a crunch just to set this all up, but I will remove pretty much everybody that's sitting there at the bottom end. And I'm looking at removing everybody that is below 6,400. So we start at 64. I'm going to remove everybody sitting 63 and down. If you can make a case for one of these players, go ahead and add them back to your group. But these players are so thin when you're trying to build out lineups in large field tournaments. Yeah, they're going to give you differentiation, but they're 0.9, 0.7% owned for a reason. So we're going to add this in. We're going to crunch. And look at this. All of my lineups have a lot lower ownership projection than they had before. Now, you're going to get some thin plays, a Zach Johnson here and there. You're going to get yourself to, some lower owned ones like this, where, Cameron Young, he's pieced together with pretty much all low-owned options. But I think these lineups avoid duplication in the way that we're looking for in PGA DFS, in large field PGA DFS. And if you look at the Cantlay lineup specifically, now I am automatically saying I need to have 2 lower-owned pieces with all of them. He's the most popular player in the field. He will be the most popular player in the field. Make sure you take advantage of the tools and content that we have here to help inform your decision-making. So there it is. I'm looking at building out my groups a little bit like that. It can get more intricate than that, but I think that's a great way to start your lineup building process. Just to repeat, once again, we've got Lindy's insider access going for you. Take advantage of that right now. That's the lovely Discord that I was talking about before. If you can't tell, this is my opportunity to be able to reset everything that I'm doing on my end, but I just think that this is a great product that we have going in the Discord. NBA Bet Pro, a great add-on for OddsShopper as well. If you enjoy these tools and content on the DFS side, you're going to love having the insiders be able to help you curate some bets for you. If you have a problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER, no doubt about it. But join our Discord. Come hang out with us. The water is warm there. All right, y'all. Let's finish everything out. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to say hello. And we're going to add to stream DraftKings.com. All right, talked about it before, but we know Cantlay. He's going to be very popular. I'm going to be starting a lot of my builds going to Tony Finau when I'm hand building in 3-max stuff. I'm a sicko where I just love Sam Burns. We talked about positive leverage for him in that Top Golfers tool. As long as that maintains, I think it'll be easy for me to get to a little bit of him. Not sure I'm going to need him in a 3-max format even this week. As much as I love the man, probably just be disgusting. But I'm going to eat the chalk with Cam Young in the 9K range. So 10-2 Finau, Cam Young 9,100. That's the chalk that I'm willing to eat. Thigula's getting a little bit of negative leverage going his direction. I'm happy to be playing him. But I'm going to highlight JT Poston, somebody who's just been extremely consistent over in the old PGA DFS streets. 3 consecutive T21s, faded a little bit with just the 69 in round 4 at the Sony. But overall, this is another guy who can just get hot with the putter, hot with the irons. Again, I'm not undervaluing anything else with his golf game because, again, I'm highlighting primarily great drivers of the golf ball. but he's 26th in tee to green over the course of his last 50 rounds. If that maintains, he is a very, very well-rounded golfer that I think will be a massive, massive part of my builds. Going to the 7K range to finish out some of this, Brendan Steele, most positively leveraged golfer we have in the top stacks tool, no doubt about it. And as deep and ridiculous and whatever else is the 7K range is nice. 6K range is terrible. I'm going to highlight Austin Eckroat. I don't think people know who Austin Eckroat is, but this guy at Oklahoma State was a monster. I've been told for a long time that he's going to be somebody who emerges onto the scene here. Played awesome at the Sony T12. I had 19% of him at sub 1% last week. I think people are going to probably get on board a little bit more this week. If they don't, so be it. I'm going to continue to play him. Even in a 3-max setting, I think he's somebody that's going to show up in lineups for me. But those are 5 golfers that I've got. One in the 10K range, 9K range, 8K range, 7K range, and 6K range that I am very interested in for this tournament this weekend. The American Express, that does it. My very first PGA DFS breakdown for you guys. I'm just starting the research process. I want to make these videos as informative and helpful as I possibly can. Help me know how to do that. Let me know what you're most interested in seeing. Tried to cover the top golfers tool here at Stokastic. It's going to get updated. Make sure you check out the weather splits as well. That'll be updated for tomorrow. We built out some 150 lineups, talked about different ways to possibly put groups together to avoid some of the duplication. And then the beginning stages of a 3-max type setting that we're looking at here over on DraftKings.com. But hit that like button as you get out of here. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't joined us yet. And sign up at Prize Picks. Get $100 first match deposit bonus right now when you sign up using promo code Stokastic. All right, y'all. I'll be back covering PGA next week. Until then, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck with your PGA lineups for the American Express.